Welcome back to your pathway to divine alignment. Today we're going over step 4. Now I've got my little notepad here, which has all of the steps, if you're wondering what I'm holding. So recently we went over step 3, and step 3 was movement as medicine. Now, if you haven't watched that, go watch it now because it's important that you know all of the steps because they build onto each other. So if you come to step 4, maybe your heart and your vibration and your frequency will not be able to handle being elevated because you haven't done the previous steps. Our first step was self-devotion. Our second step was insight and intuition. Our third step was movement as medicine. And our fourth step is frequency and vibration. Frequency and vibration. Now, the reason the fourth step is frequency and vibration is because we're also following somewhat the energy of the chakras, right? Self-devotion helps you ground in your root. Clear your root, have some boundaries, feel grounded. The second step, insight and intuition, is creativity. So we're kind of playing with the energy of the sacral chakra. Movement as medicine is the third chakra. Now, our stomach, our solar plexus, is important in a lot of aspects, digesting food, expression, things like this. So opening that energy center, playing with it is really important. And it's also good for movement because then your body has more flow into it. Our fourth one is frequency and vibration, which is your heart chakra. Now, there are a lot of theories out there where our soul is. I don't know where our soul sits. Personally, I believe that our soul sits in our heart. That's my belief. It's my personal belief. And I could be wrong, but I rarely am. And the reason I'm rarely wrong is because I listen to God, my spirit guide. I actually listen to my spirit guide, whose name is God. And I listen to what I feel, and I listen to what I see in other people, and I listen to what I understand. And I think our soul rests in our heart because it doesn't make sense for our soul to sit here. I get it. I get why. I understand. It makes sense, but our heart is so magnetic. And I really think that our heart creates our aura, it creates our energy field, and it's responsible for where we are and how we're vibrating and what we're attracting. I really think it's our heart because, and you can even argue that the mind is more important, which in step 6 you'll see we'll actually get into mind over matter. But it's not also just always the mind. The mind is too analytical, too mechanic. You need the heart to balance the mind. And so I think that the heart is where we're seated. The heart is how we connect. The heart is how we feel. If you are just all mind, you don't feel so grounded either. Like you need to feel you need the balance. Like you need to feel, oh my God, I have to read A Course in Miracles because I think I'm going literally against what Jesus says right now. Not against it, but I wonder what he means. I wonder what Jesus means when he talks about the mind is so powerful. But I don't think the mind can be so powerful without the heart being pure. I don't think that that's possible. I have to read it like really in detail because I haven't read the whole book. I really need to get and read it because I wonder if I'm going against what he teaches. No, obviously not, but like I just don't see the connection yet. That's what I'm hearing. It'll be revealed in time. What else? They're laughing. They like my sense of humor. Ah, okay. That was a lot. But basically, they said the heart, the heart is the seat of the soul. but there's more to it because the soul is so big, it can be in many different places, which I think is interesting. Huh. Okay, so now let's go into let's dive a little deeper now that I'm done channeling, because wow, that kind of hurt my brain. Now, heart-centered living, I think, is something where you are here. This is you. Looks like you got a little scoliosis going on. Sorry about that. And you have your heart here. Okay? For lack of proper anatomy. Now, heart centered living is when you make choices with your heart, and then your heart becomes kind of this pure, big thing that influences your decisions. Okay, you're vibrating from your heart. And maybe your heart actually, because you're living so heart centered, is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And so your aura becomes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm using green specifically because the heart chakra is green or light pink. So it's really important that we understand color is also a vibration and a frequency. So we have this and we're pulsating. So basically, if you want, we can go through a short meditation. So as you see, I had to remake this video because my microphone died halfway through, not halfway through, the first 5 minutes in, and it was a 35-minute video. So I talked to the spirits in my room. So I guess yesterday was specifically for them. Now, you are looking at this mess of a board and you're probably wondering what the hell went on here. Well, let me further explain. So, also watching my videos back, I realized that I say so much. Whatever. Oh my God, that smoothie's so good. Wild blueberries, a frozen banana, spirulina, barley wheatgrass powder, cilantro orange juice, and I don't have it right now, but it's Atlantic Dulce, the seaweed. Dulce, I don't know how to say it, dulce. English isn't phonetic, but it's actually a really good smoothie, and it helps remove heavy metals in the body. Okay. Now I'm trying to put together my thoughts from yesterday. All right, so I already told you about living a heart-centered life and how the heart magnifies. And I did a meditation for you, but of course, there was no voice. Let's do it again. So all we're going to do, it's going to be like a 1-minute meditation just so you feel the shift. I want you to inhale, place your hand over your heart. Exhale. Inhale again. Exhale. And all I want you to do is feel that feeling inside with your heart, okay? Just drop into that heart space. It's okay if you cry or you feel tears. It's totally fine. That's what the heart does. It opens. Now, you guys, now we're going to come back into our bodies, wiggle our fingers a little bit. Inhale, remember that we're in a physical space. Ground a little bit. Move those wrists, really blink, have something to drink, have a snacky poo. Whenever you feel agitated, angry, you don't feel like you can connect to someone, the connection between you and another feels off, you feel weird, I want you to drop into that heart space, because from the heart space, you then can have a nice connection. Because when you lose being heart centered, you lose more than just the connection with yourself. You lose a connection to earth, to others, to happiness, to joy, to love, to peace. And dropping into that heart center brings you back into something that says, oh, okay, it's okay. It brings you more compassion. It gives you more understanding. It allows that like fourth wall to shatter, and it opens you to other people, which is a very, very nice thing to have. And so dropping into that heart space, doing that small meditation is really helpful. And I suggest that you do it if you're grieving, if you're angry, if you're pissed off about your past or someone has wronged you. I suggest dropping into that heart space, because it's not about the other person. It's about you and how you're carrying that weight with you. And when you drop into that heart space, you drop into a place where you can come home and connect back to yourself. Forgive yourself for putting yourself in that situation, or the shame or the guilt or the anger you feel. You forgive yourself for those feelings because they're not nice and you don't want to carry them. And then the situation solves itself. You're never actually working hard to forgive the other person, because some people are just losers. And I'm really tired of people in the spiritual community pretending that they aren't. Some people are just losers. And that's not your fault, that's their fault. And how you deal with them is you go within and forgive yourself for being in the situation where you allowed them to take advantage of you, where you allowed yourself to betray your own feelings, or these types of things. You forgive yourself. Yourself. I don't care about the other person. I really don't. At the end of the day, people have to learn their own karmic lessons, and that's up to them and their higher selves. And I separate myself from that and I say, okay, how can I move past this within myself? That's how you do it. Now, let's continue. So I wrote a bunch of stuff on here. Can we start a GoFundMe to get me a new whiteboard? Because my whiteboard is not working anymore. Let's start a GoFundMe account. Get Kaylee a new whiteboard because she's a great teacher and we love and appreciate her. I vividly remember explaining this pattern. Now, what this is and why I grabbed this book is because I explain what the map of consciousness is. Because we're talking about frequency and vibration, and humans move through frequency and vibration naturally, according to what they're wearing, also because fabrics have their own frequency and vibration, according to what they're eating. Foods have their own, according to the colors they're exposed to, the TV shows they watch, the movies they watch, the music they listen to, the items around them. Like everything is vibrating. Everything is in a constant state of vibration and frequency. And if you allow things that are a lower vibration to be around you, you're not going to be a vibrational match for the life you want. Now, I'm not saying that this is a bad thing, because there are certain jobs that need to be done that require, how do I explain this without being a cunt? There are certain jobs that require certain frequencies. That frequency is the frequency that you live in while you have that job. So someone who is a lawyer is in a different frequency than someone who is working in nature, who's a park ranger, or an activist is in a different frequency than someone who works in the oil field. Someone who works in an oil field is in a different frequency than someone who drives a bus. Someone who drives a bus is in a different frequency than a fisherman. They're all in different frequencies. And this is why parallel realities exist, because everybody is living in their own specific, very specific frequency. And that person then has frequency matches. Now, this is where this diagram comes in. So like, do you see the black and how they are in a frequency match? The red is in a frequency match. The green is in a frequency match. The blue is in a frequency match. So birds of a feather flock together, because your frequency and your vibration is pulling people in and bringing them closer and closer to you, because you're all vibrating at the same level. So if we're here, we cannot meet people who are vibrating like this here. And we can't vibrate like, we're not going to meet people who vibrate like this if we're vibrating like this. We're not a vibrational match at all. We're completely, maybe we don't even see each other. We never see each other. There are things that go on Earth, and there are things that happen on Earth that I've never seen in my life because I'm not a frequency vibrational match for it. But I know it exists because all realities must exist. So I'm having this life, someone's having another life. It's not fair for me to say that doesn't exist because, of course, it exists. Someone else is literally having that experience right now. So everything exists all at once. You have to accept that. And you have to accept that there's no right or wrong happenings. You're not right because you live a certain way, and they're not right because they live a certain way. This is the ego separating us. Now, of course, morally, there are things that, of course, we argue that are wrong and that are right. That's just being a human. Morally, of course, we're going to say you shouldn't marry children. That, of course, like, duh, right? But on a deeper level, we have to trust that somewhere the energy of God is working. Because if not, we're not going to believe in anything. It's hard to believe in something when all of this stuff is happening. So you have to just keep the faith. Now, people who vibrate like this aren't finding people who vibrate like this. These people who vibrate like this are going to find more people who vibrate like this. And they're all going to be friends, right? Now, what's really cool is if you can change your vibration and go between groups. Now, this is fun. But what I'm saying is that people who vibrate the same will usually find the people who vibrate the same, and they're all going to have the same perspective of life because everything that vibrates the same as them is going to come into their reality. So when I speak to certain people, they tell me certain things that happen that I've never seen in my life, that I don't experience. But when I hang out with them, I see them because they bring it into our field of energy, and I'm with them and I'm in their field. And this is why it's important to only hang out with people that you want the same life as or a similar vibration because they pull it into them. And if you want that, you need to hang out with them to understand how that life works. For example, I don't like to hang out with people who are angry all the time or who are big drinkers or girls who party all the time or girls who have a male-centered life. I don't like that because that's not the vibration I'm in. I don't want to party all the time. I don't want to get drunk anymore. I did that. I'm over this vibration. I've grown. I'm out of it. I did this. I vibrate different now. So I don't want to be around people who vibrate that way because it's not my vibration. I want to be in the vibe of people who like to be in nature, who feel at peace, who feel joy, who feel curious about life. This is the vibration that I enjoy. So it's important, and don't feel guilty about it if you stop talking to certain friends because they're just vibrating differently than you. And if you want to go a different way, you're more like you have that right to do that because it's your life, okay? Now, I explain the level of the map of consciousness because the map is basically telling you the same thing I am. So it looks like this. Do you see it, you guys? This is, now, don't think of it as like going linear up and down. Think of it as more of like an encompassed feeling. So the lowest vibration that you can feel, life view, is miserable. This is the level of shame, and the log on the, he put numbers and he did muscle testing and stuff, is 20. It's the lowest. The emotion is humiliation, and the God view is despising. So you despise God. You have a lot of shame and you're miserable. These people are the worst people because they're so low vibrational. 20 is hard. Now, maybe these people aren't the worst. I don't want to say that they're the worst because they're going through something crazy. But have you ever talked to someone in this vibration? They're miserable and they don't want to come out because they're comfortable in this vibration. And it's hard to move it's hard to go from 20 to, for example, courage, which sits at 200. So we're going from shame to courage. And this is kind of what I was writing here. So shame, in order to get to courage, you have to go through other emotions, through other fields, because you cannot jump from shame to enlightenment. It's impossible. You can't, and that's not the goal, because if you jump from shame to enlightenment, you are bypassing so many steps that allow you to understand the field of vibration around you so that you can hold the vibration. You cannot go from shame to joy. like it's impossible. You have to first go into maybe fear. Fear is higher than shame. So you're going from humiliation to now anxiety. Like, oh my God, I was so ashamed before and now I'm not, but I'm kind of nervous and I don't really know how to navigate this new life. That's completely fine because you're jumping from, look, 20 to 100. So that's great. You're moving. That's the most important part, is you're moving out of that vibration. Now, if you went from shame to willingness, you might actually jump from shame to willingness. But you're not going to be able to stay in willingness. You're going to drop down a little further, but that's fine. You have to go little by little, step by step, because you need to learn how to hold it in your vibrational field, which is why the nervous system is also really important, because your nervous system is directly in, in pair with your frequency and vibration. So if your nervous system can't hold things like a higher salary, better friends, joy, happiness, peace, love, all of these things, you're going to fall down to your old vibrational pattern because you haven't taught your nervous system how to actually hold it. So it's frequency and vibration. It's the fourth step, but it's probably one of the most significant steps. And it's the reason that you need 3 more before it and a couple after, because you cannot have a foundation that is broken and then have a new vibration. So you have to go to step 1, which is self-devotion, grounding, understanding, starting to love yourself, because you cannot jump this far. You cannot do it. That's why there's 1, 2, 3 steps before it. It's very important that you go through insight and movement, and then you go into frequency and vibration. Okay? Now, if you want to heal your nervous system, there are a lot of really cool things, and I've done a lot of videos on somatic practices. So go check the 3rd step for sure, because we have a couple, because somatic will help you release the tension in your body. This is why movement comes before frequency and vibration, because I don't want you to start moving on purpose to raise your vibration, because that defeats the purpose. The purpose is always to love yourself. Number 1, the purpose is always self-devotion. That's why it's the first step. I don't want you to purposefully go into a movement to say, okay, I'm raising my vibration, because maybe you're not. Maybe you're just healing what you have to heal right now. And being authentic and being true to yourself actually helps your vibration rise in the end. But it's not the purpose of, okay, I'm raising my vibration. It should never be that. It should always be, okay, you know what? I'm dedicated to who I want to be. I want to do something good for myself, and that's what I'm going to do. It should always fall into that category of self whenever you're doing something. So how we can do this? First of all, sound healing. Now, inside True Alchemy, we have a really great sound healer who has a beautiful course dedicated to all things sound healing. This is amazing because she teaches such beautiful things, and she also has a sound healing inside of the course. It's amazing. You can also go on YouTube and listen to certain sound healings, crystal bowls, and stuff like this. Sound healing crystals also can raise your vibration and aid and help. Other things that raise your vibration are like when you're in the shower, you can imagine the water washing away all of the dark energy from your aura. I guess we should also talk about aura here. Your aura is really, really important in this case scenario, but perhaps we'll talk about it. I think I'll go into aura in the 7th step, divine alignment. But keep in mind that when you're washing in the shower, you're cleaning your aura, you're washing everything away, basically all the sins of the day. And sins in this context is just believing that you're separate from God. So you're washing the separateness of the world off of you to be united with the divine. Crystals raise your vibration. Like healing music, I already said music, but like classical music, things like this, doing some yoga, moving your body, watching a funny TV show, reading your favorite book, eating your favorite meal. These things help your vibration. They help you. Meditation automatically shifts you into a new vibration. Like these things are really important, and it helps you live a more heart-centered life. And it helps you build your nervous system as well. Just also rest. Like honestly, probably the most important thing is probably rest, but like actual rest, not like rotting in bed, because that's not rest, but like, you have a nap in the day, you eat a nourishing meal, you decide to go get a massage, you go to the chiropractor, you go to the spa, you go have a swim, you go to the sauna, to the steam room. These types of rests are very important. Mindful rests, where you're like, okay, it's time for rejuvenation into my body. These are really important as well. So I hope that frequency and vibration makes a lot of sense to you. It's actually like this is such a key step in the 7 steps to divine alignment. It's amazing. This course, I'm developing it right now. It'll be out in January. It'll have all 7 steps, and you will not have access to the next step until you complete the step before it, because I want you to actually like really gain something from this knowledge. Frequency and vibration is going to have so much information. It's going to be crazy. So, you guys, I love that you're here. Thank you so much for being here. Comment if you have any questions. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and the course is coming out in the new year 2026, so be ready for it. And if you want to be the first to know, I'm going to put the email list in the caption, so just go sign up for the email list and you're going to be one of the first people to know when the course releases. So I hope that's you. We're doing good. It's a numerology year. It's 112026, so it's 10, so it's 1. So we've got 111. It's like the perfect time to start a new beginning. Okay, guys.